God, I love that song. Welcome to the stream, guys. Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. And yeah, this is going to be a fun one today. All the streams are fun. So, I've had a surprisingly busy day. Mostly because I've been trying to do like actual YouTube stuff and try and be more consistent with that. And I've been filming a lot of stuff, trying to get some stuff out. I do have a video coming tomorrow, and that is my unboxing video for a very special campaign, and that is the Perfection Collection by Genuine Comics and Perfect 10 issue 6. So I decided to film the unboxing video for that and show you guys exactly what I got. And as you can see, it looks awesome. But yeah, I'm going to have a video out tomorrow so you can see the process for that and see it probably in better resolution than what you can see on screen. I also got another video out that actually I decided to put in as like a little bumper that I can have on the streams just in case I need to go and do something, and just give you guys a couple of minutes just to like not be sitting here with like a chair stream. So I'll show that after I go over exactly what it is. Actually, no, you know what? So if any of you are aware of the Sony PlayStation Rockstar GTA 6 issue, the video game companies are trying to get rid of discs, and they are pretty much like waging an all-out war on physical media, which I like physical media, and I know a lot of people who do like it. So I thought that it would be fun to try to put together a little parody ad. So it's, if any of you used to watch like movies in like the maybe like early 2000s, and they would have like those anti-piracy ads where it's like, you wouldn't download a car, or you wouldn't download a bag or shit like that. It's like, fuck yeah, I would. But that would always come up whenever I'd be like looking for that stuff on like Twitter, and people always talking about that. So I decided I was going to make a little parody ad, and sort of in like that same vein. And I was up until like 12:30 last night finishing up this thing, and I think it turned out pretty decent. But it's something that I can play on stream whenever I just want to have some time to maybe like go and get a drink or something, and you guys won't be bored. So without any further ado, you can find this on my channel, but I'm going to show it here just in case. And enjoy. Alrighty. And speaking of drinks, I have one right here. It is probably an abomination, but it's a mix of rum and Diet Pepsi. I just have more Diet Pepsi than I do actual Pepsi, so I figured I would use it and actually have a bit of a drink on screen, on stream before I get into like drawing some stuff. So that was what I was working on last night, and I think it turned out pretty good. I think it has like that same grungy look to it, and yeah, it's a good way of learning a new video editing software because I used to use Hit Film, but that apparently that company like it got acquired by somebody and they weren't keeping up with the software. So whenever I updated my computer, that whole thing went kibosh, and I had to find a new thing to edit my videos. And I decided to go with DaVinci Resolve because it's free. It's free and it has everything that I needed to have to make videos. So that's what I did, and it seems to be working out perfectly fine so far. But look at me. I am yapping during an art stream, and I don't even have the damn art pulled up. So this one will look very familiar to you guys. Where are we? Share screen. Window. There we go. Alrighty. So there we go. Okay. So you guys remember Talisman. I was drawing her during the last stream. Have not made any progress because I wanted to maybe finish out the inking on this stream and then go from there. But we shall see if she ends up getting finished up on this stream. I want to try to get into a different piece next week that I can actually incorporate into a video. Not a live stream video, but just like a regular YouTube video that I can like throw in some little bit like comedy bits in there. And something that would be a little bit less time consuming than a stream. So that's why I want to try and get her finished up today. And since I'm starting at 9:30, I might have time. Depending on if I get sidetracked on anything or if I just futz around, I should be able to get this taken care of. Okay, that is the one I should be using. Okay. I should be able to get this taken care of today. No. I'm hearing all of the fireworks going on outside. It is lovely to hear. All right. So let's work on this. That last little bit was throwing me off. That should be fine. Okay. Oh yeah, because the whole thing is one color. Okay. That makes... For a second there, I was wondering where like this ending bit was, like down here. But then I realized that is like this part is not... This part's making no sense to me. It's like I was thinking that it was going to have this part connect down here, But no, that's not actually what it needs to go. It goes all the way down to the bottom of this cloth right here. So it's all of that is one color. Nope, gotta be a little bit more precise. There we go. Then gotta get that hip dip in there. And have that go right there. Okay, that works. It's funny because I was hearing all of the fireworks going off, and I was also hearing thunder going off at the same time because there was some pretty big thunderstorms going on, like maybe an hour before all of the fireworks were going off. So that was quite interesting, trying to determine which one is fireworks and which one is thunder. Although a lot of times the low rumbling would give it away, if I'm being entirely honest. All right. Got that. Then throw that there. All right. And now this has to line up with the energy blast. Okay. That's not nearly as bad as I expected it to be. Okay. And throw that here. Okay. This part's not being nearly as bad as I expected it to. Although, whenever I get down to the cross-hatching, that's whenever it may decide to be like, now I'm going to be more challenging. All right. Yeah, because this one I'm going to try to do some more cross-hatching than what I would usually do. Because usually what I would do is I would mostly rely on like cell shading. And I could still do that, but I also want to have more of that like textury look to it and make it look more comic-y rather than animation style. So what do I want to do next? Let's have this, let's do the side of her leg. Okay. And then I know what I can do. I can do this part's going to be behind the cloth, so this can be removed. That was just there as a placeholder before. So, okay. I'm trying to determine what part of this is going to be crossing over in front of her leg. So let's have it be, I'm going to ad lib a bit here. There we go. Then have this be the part behind that. And we can have some thick lines on the outer parts of this. Certain parts of it. And thinner lines on the inside. All right. Wow, they're really going to town. Can you guys hear the fireworks, or is the mic doing a good job of just like toning out that noise? I think it's just not picking up on it. Which is good, because then you guys don't need to be listening to like popping going on while you're listening to this. All right. And have that go around her knee. Yep. And go right up there. Oh, excuse me. You can have this line go right to that part. And this one goes right to there. That needs a little bit of work. And then that, nope. There and there. Okay. That needs a little bit less width. There we are. Much better. Okay. Now, what I could do is let's put some more lines in here, just to see like the fabric sort of like stretching around her knee, just to give it a bit more of a form to it. Okay. I can work with that. And we'll add some thin lines here to give it a sense of motion. Okay. That works almost perfectly. But, okay. And we can throw that on there to show where her knee is. I'm going to accept where that is. Okay. And with that there, we can also, let's do the cloth in the back, because that's easy enough to do. Because most of that is not too detailed, and it's also not, it's not just like out in the open. It's actually like further in the back of the composition. Okay. Sorry, guys, if you see me rubbing my eyes, I may be ever so slightly tired. I mean, I was up late last night working on that video, so. And since I was up late last night, go and check out that video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you like it. If you don't, please don't crucify me. All right. And we'll have that. Go back here. Cool. I just figured I'd throw that in there just to give it some more life rather than it just being a blank space. So hopefully that looks all right if I don't rush it. I can work with that. All right. So light line, and I'll do one here too. Nope, that needs to go a little bit lower. And this one can go right here. There we go. Okay. Yep, I'm okay with that. Okay. So time for another drink. Or a sip of a drink, I guess I should say. Refreshing. All right, let's start with the leg or this line that goes right down the middle. Because then I can build off of that and just go straight into these shoes. Which I think this line just goes all the way around here, if I remember correctly. Because I'm at a point now where I don't need to pull out the reference image. I can just go based on a memory of it. But there are still some parts that I do need to be reminded of, like that part down in like the crotch area, where I need to see if it actually lined up with those pieces or like those sections, or if it went all the way down to the end of the cloth. So there are just some things I just need my memory jogged on, but it's not imperative. I mean, if you look at it, this character has had like several different interpretations of her costume. So where's that going? It's going right up here. Anyways, different interpretations of her costume. And if I wanted to make some parts of it into my own interpretation, I could if I wanted to. I'm just not going to. Okay. Get that. Alrighty. And yes, okay. Now I figured out. Okay. right there. And a little bit there. That's where the knee would be. That's where the leg bone would be. That's going to get a bit of cross-hatching later. Honestly, I think the cross-hatching is going to be the part that takes the longest time because it's more of a delicate process. Because whenever you're drawing women, you have to be very careful that you don't put too many lines, especially in the face area. Otherwise, they look way older than they're supposed to be. And that is something that I don't want for this character. I still want her to have like the longer features of like a Native American face, but I don't want her to be old or like be looking like she is old. All right. Thankfully, the shoes are much less complicated than the usual shoes that I draw. Yeah, that works. Okay. Whoa. Whoop, I just threw on that line there. Can't be doing that. Okay. And then all that's left of this leg is just the top part. Okay. So that's good to go. Now I just have this arm over here, which shouldn't be too bad because this type of hand I'm okay with. It's whenever it's like scrunched up. Those ones are usually the ones that are the bigger pain. Mainly because the art style that I was trying to go for before did not allow for that type of easy hand gesture. It was much more of an art style of like trying to rush through it because I was much more concerned with speed. This one, I'm much more okay with just taking my time with it because I'm trying to like teach myself how to cross hatch better whenever I get to it. But yeah, it's a work in progress for sure. Speaking of work in progress, that needs a bit of a thinner line there. Get that, get that. Okay, that works. That's another thing I'm trying to learn better is like creases in clothing or like drawing fabric. Since this is more of like a skin tight outfit for her, there would still be parts that get bunched up, like where it would be in like the elbow area or like right around like where it would be um and like the various points where your body would be bending. So that is another challenge that I'll be getting into with character designing. Oh, excuse me. No, it shouldn't be connected. Okay, that can work. And put this here. That to bunch up. That actually looks pretty good. And that right there. I'm okay with that. I'm going to let that slide a little bit. That. Fill in that little area right there. And the arm is done. Now we just need to do the hand. How long is the other one? The other one's pretty long, so this one's going to be pretty long too. All right. Let's do one more. A couple minutes, I'm going to have to refill my glass. I may have let it get a little bit too watered down because I'm not feeling anything right now. Okay. Start with the thumb. I just have to keep telling myself it's just one. I guess one pen stroke at a time. And that makes it so much easier. Okay, I'm all right with that. Yeah. And then okay, I'm all right with that. That for there. Have that little webbing between the fingers. I think that might also be something that I had an issue with before, because I would just want to draw to the fingers where like there wasn't that much space between them. So that may have led to some problems initially. But then there's also places where it makes sense to not have that space between them. Like right about here, where they're closer together. And go there. And now we just have the pinky finger left. This part's throwing me off. That bit smaller. Yeah, because that seemed like it was a little bit too wide. Nope. Retry. Okay. I can get behind that. And I'm also okay with that. So, we are good in that regard. No, that needs to be thinner. Definitely thinner. Don't want to be taking too much focus away. All right. So those and the fingernails are done. Now we just need to have the middle knuckles. No, those need to be... They need to be further back. That looks just weird, no? Where did I want to put those? Because whenever you're... One second, guys. I need to do some... my mouse has disappeared. There we go. I need to do some quick... I need to do some quick self-reference. So, hands there. The only one that you're going to see are the ones in the middle, which literally look like they're in the middle. Okay. Alrighty. So, again, that's too thick. Good lord. Let's put that there, that there. And all right. I'm okay with that. All right. So we got our body done. Now I just need to get this this like energy blast, magic blast, I guess. We can get on with that. So actually, let's make that a little bit jagged so that it doesn't look all perfect and stuff. Got that going. There we are. Okay. Slowly but surely. Okay, I was second guessing if I did those thin enough for the lines. And I'm gonna say yes, I am okay with how thin they are. Because I'm trying to draw like with a very light hand. So far seems to be working out. If I don't randomly start adding stuff with my fat fingers. All right, there we go. All right, that inner part was not too bad. Now this is the part where it can actually get like smoother lines rather than the more jaggedy stuff on the inside. So, give me a moment. Why am I already starting to have to stretch my back? I shouldn't have to be doing that right now. That should be coming like 2 hours into the stream. All right. This going so we can have the perimeter. Actually, no, I want that to, I actually do want this to connect It's the big one that I don't want to connect. All right. This inking process is actually not taking as long as I expected it to have to take. So that is good news for me. All right, this one I won't have connect at the end. As well as this one. This part, this one's going to have to. This one's going all the way from over here down to here. That needs to be better. And I'll just have to redo this part. Okay. Get that. Let that go a little bit further until it smoothly connects. Okay. So that's all of the. One second, I need to get my earbuds actually moved over here so I'm not yanking them out of my ear. And actually, no, I'm going to leave the computer facing that way. All right, so that's the outline inking. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to actually try to do some cross hatching and hopefully add some more life to this. Go in and add those shadows where they need to be, and then hopefully we'll be done with that process. And I can say that this will be the completed black and white image of Talisman. After what would this be? 3 streams now? Yeah, that would be 3 streams because I did it on the CG Herald on Monday. And then the draw stream after that one. Yeah, that would be 3 streams. So, where should I start? Let's start with somewhere that's not as important, with her knee. I'm trying to be as light as possible with these so that it doesn't take away from the rest of it and so that it's not as noticeable. So hopefully that works. So we need to add some more shadow down here as well. And actually, we can do this whole area like this. I definitely need to work on my cross hatching, guys. I'm going to be honest. But this area right here could use some more shadow. That works. And we'll put a little bit of shadow here so that there's some attention drawn to the leg muscle or the leg bone. And then since this part of her leg is going to be in shadow, because it's the way that I'm seeing it is There's light obviously coming from the magic blasts. And I'm thinking that the light would be coming from like here or like up in this area over here. So most of the shadows are going to be on the left side. Well, they're going to be on the left side of the art. So that's where I'm going to try to put them. How does this... Let's try this. Let's try to get it to follow the curvature of the body. All right. And then these parts, we'll just make those a little bit darker. And then, I'm hesitant to add... Sorry guys, I'm hearing like very close fireworks now. This must be the time whenever people are starting to get even more rowdy. I'm going to try adding some like... Good God. I'm going to try adding some like pure black to some areas just to add some depth, like right down here. All right, and back here. Actually, I'm going to test something out. I'm going to see if adding pure black to certain areas makes it look better than cross-hatching. Because I think that it might. Let's just call this my experimental phase. Okay, I'm all right with that. Now, there's going to be some pure black up in the armpit. I know that. That would be like right there. Because this part of fabric is like stretched from like top of the boob over to her arm. So that's going to create a pure shadow right there. That works. I'm okay with that. And then right here, we'll have another pure black. We'll just have that go right there. Get that going. Put that there. And just for the heck of it, we'll put one right there just to give some more space between that bit of cloth and her leg. And also right here. There we go. Okay, I'm all right with how that's turned out. And I think... Give me a moment. I'm trying to see if there's any other places where I could put like a pure black. But I think that might have been all. Yeah, that's probably all. Okay. So let's... I'm hesitant to add anything else to her face because she still has that feminine softness to her, and I don't want to fuck that up. And I think if I was to do anything like adding like eyeshadow or anything, then that would have to be done in like the coloring stage, because I'm not that confident in myself to crosshatch up there, and I think that adding too many lines up there would just make it look weird. So I'm gonna hold off on doing that. What I will do is I'll put some cross-hatching here. Because her hair is there. Welcome. If I get my mouse working. Welcome, JOM F5W5H. I still don't know how to say your name, so I'm just going to keep saying Jom. Trust your strokes. Don't overthink. That is the main problem with me. I always tend to overthink things, and not just in art. It's what I'm trying to get better at, but it is a continuous challenge. So I think I'm going to try to do some cross-hatching up here. Trying to decide what I want to do with the tiara, because I believe that this part is gold. I know that the talisman itself is like red. So if I'm going for a black and white look, that's what I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna try to make this look like reflective gold while still having a black and white element to it. So let's see if this works somewhat. I don't hate it. Whoop, that did nothing. There we go. Okay, and that middle part would just be like shiny. I'm actually okay with that. So let's have this side. And I need to remember what part of it is the shiny part. So there we go, right there. And there we go. And actually, just have that go right up there. And connect this line over here. I'm actually very much okay with how this is turning out. Maybe not on that side, but it's slight progress. So, nope, too big. Okay. Let's try and connect this side and see if that makes it look better. I'm okay with that. All right. So I want to test something out to see if it would work with the eye, because this might be ever so slightly stereotypical, but whenever I think like Native Americans, I usually think like darker eyes. I don't usually think like bright blue or like green or like the lighter colors. I usually think of like dark brown or like very close to black. So I'm going to try something with cross hatching that may or may not work, but we'll see. I'm actually okay with how that turned out. Now I just have to be similar with this one. Because I am trying to make this black and white, or as close to that as possible. So I'm actually all right with that. Hmm. And now the next part to crosshatch would just be up here. All right. So I think what I'm finding is that if the lines follow the curvature of the body in that area, then it looks better than just having like straight lines across. Granted, straight lines across works with some art styles. I just don't think it works with this one. So I'm going to keep doing that, and we'll see how this turns out. Let's try. I'm going to try two things here. Because this is similar to what I did for the eye, where it's just one line straight across, parallel. Or I should say perpendicular. Never mind. But I'm not necessarily a fan of how that looks. This one might be a bit of a kerfuffle. Because right over here, on this side of my little, I guess, art studio or office space, I have sort of like a mood board of sorts. And it has various different character designs and art styles that I want to emulate. And I'm trying to see which one would work best for this, because I don't think that cross-hatching the hair this way is going to work. At least not in the way that I want it to. This one's going to be interesting. I think this might be an instance where I might need to hold off on the hair, at least for now. And then I can come back to it later. She does have black hair, so that also may be what's throwing me for a loop, because I put in all the detail like in the back here, and all of that would be for naught if I decided to shade it the way that I wanted to. But sometimes that is the price that has to be paid. Okay. So I'm going to try something. Nope. I'm actually okay with that. Again, it's following the curvature of the body, and it's not causing a problem. So I'm all right with that. Now the teeth, that's going to be a little bit more difficult, because if I put too many lines going down, then that could be interpreted as like the separations between her teeth, and you certainly don't want that coming across in like any character really, unless it's like Joker, where you want to see like the individual teeth because he looks creepier that way and emphasizes the smile. But with female characters and like attractive characters, you don't want to do that. You just want to have like a more singular set of, or a singular row of teeth, so that there's not too much attention drawn to them. Huh. I'm gonna try to shade her lips. And they're gonna have at least some kind of lipstick on them. So there's gonna be some kind of color in there regardless. It's just gonna be a matter of how much. I'm not really a fan of how that's turning out, but we'll see how it looks at the end. Because I'm gonna add like highlights to it. Okay. So the underside can get some more lines going down there. Get that. Okay. Now we have up here. And I think right here would be where I need to add the highlights. So that on the bottom and this on the top. I don't know. I'm still not entirely satisfied with that. I may have to do some more research. Yeah, this one may require some more research because I'm not entirely sure that I'm doing it correctly. Yeah, I'll have to look into this one. Alrighty. But I can say that I got the inking done. So I would count that as a win. You know what I'll do? See, that's gonna go right there. So nope, that needs to be this. All right. And then I'll throw some more right about here. Add some more shadow there. Actually, doesn't look too bad. I may have just fixed my own problem. I still don't know how to do that hair, because the hair is supposed to be black. But if I fill it in black, then it's just going to cause more problems. And if I add too many almost parallel lines, or I should say, lines all going in like the same direction, then it would just look like it's a bunch of lines going the same direction. So that may take some time to figure out properly. If I was to do something else, where... Let's do hands. 'Cause I can learn a bit from doing the hands. All right. Doesn't look bad. Okay. I'm all right with it. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm quiet and I'm thinking. So, two things that are probably not best to do on stream: being quiet and being lost in your own artistic thoughts. Probably not the best combination. Whenever you're supposed to be entertaining the masses. But I am still learning, so got that going for me. Okay, that should be fine. I'm okay with that. And there we go. I can add some more in there. Okay. And where would the shadows be coming from? So it'd be like right there. All right. And then, since these two fingers are like curled over, they would probably cast a shadow right on there and on there. And on there as well. All right, so this is making me wonder if, you know what I probably should have done? If I was going to be drawing her hair as black, I probably should have started with just having it black and putting in maybe like a couple strands in there, not going all crazy with all these different details, and instead maybe like erased out an area um where the outline would be, because that would make a lot more sense than just like coloring all of this in black, you know? Yeah, I think that's probably what I should have done. Now, let's add some other like, okay, that's all right. Hmm. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, as I again almost ripped the earphones out of my ears, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some time. I'm going to further research how to properly crosshatch and make it look more presentable. And maybe in a future piece, then I will fully delve into that. Um, as it is, I usually much prefer to color a piece rather than just do it in black and white. So I'm going to try to see like what the differences are and what can be done to make those mesh together better, with like proper cross hatching and maybe some cell shading. But that may take some time. So I'll probably do that on a future stream and see how it turns out. It just turns out that a black-haired character is probably not the best one to be trying to figure that out with. So I can still say that I finished up the inking of it, which is good. And I think that I'm probably going to call it a night on this piece. Mainly because I don't know what else that I would want to really do with it. At least until I do some further research. But yeah, I finished up the inking of it, and I can say that I finally did that. So, thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you to, again, my mouse is not working. Thank you to Jom for stopping by too, and for giving some advice. Again, I wish I didn't have to overthink, but that's just how my brain is hardwired. But yeah, thank you guys for stopping by. If you did enjoy this video and this live stream, then please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I will close out of this. And oh yeah, I haven't done my promo for this stream yet. Okay. I was debating whether or not to say what I was going to try to do, but I'm going to do it regardless. I just may have to take a little bit more time to actually figure out how to do it properly. But I want to try to give me a moment. I need to go to Rumble. Da, 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 da. Where are we? Okay. Somebody that I'm looking for, and I need to find her. There we go. Okay. So, you can get off there. And I can share this. Can I? Yeah, there's nothing around here. Okay. So for a while now, I've followed Katie Did on YouTube and on Rumble. And I really like her show. I like Good Morning Comic Skate and CG After Dark. She does a lot of promotional streams for smaller creators in the comic skate space, and she does a really great job at it. Um, she also has like an AI Katie, which pops up in all of her videos as like a bumper, and I've wanted to try to draw that AI Katie. So I may be trying to do that on stream at some point. It really just depends on what exactly I end up doing with this cross hatching stuff and actual shading. So what I would say is go over and follow Katie on Rumble. You can also follow her on YouTube at Katie Did Clips. And yeah, I think that Katie is definitely worth a follow. And if you want to see some campaigns that she promotes, definitely stop by her live streams and yeah, go and support her. She's a great promoter and a great creator. So I can't recommend her enough. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and say goodbye to everybody. Like I said already, if you enjoyed this live stream and seeing me fumble my way through the final process of the syncing, then leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Every one of those just brings us closer to growing the channel or channels on both Rumble and YouTube. And I'll see you guys in the next video or stream, whichever one comes first. Alrighty. Have a good Independence Day or the remainder of it. Try not to blow your hand off with any fireworks. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your night, everybody. Bye.